A random sneeze from me lifts the skirts of every woman in the whole city. I flick a piece of booger casually and bring a whole nation to total ruin, all because I randomly bought a secondhand glass ecosphere. And there's a tiny miniature world inside it. Those dense little black dots in the tank aren't ants. They're tiny living human beings, and they see me as a life-giving deity that brings blessings. Right now, tens of thousands of tiny people are kneeling in front of an altar. The emperor among them, Zhao Xuan, holds both hands up to the sky. Oh heaven, the Daqian dynasty has suffered 3 years of drought. Starving people are lying dead all over the place. My people are swapping their children to eat. If we are fated to be wiped out, send your divine punishment down to me, Zhao Xuan, alone. Stop torturing the people of Daqian. His faint voice drifted right into my ears. I just happened to be eating breakfast at that moment, so I picked up a tiny crumb of biscuit and carefully placed it next to the altar. Right after that, I immediately grabbed a magnifying glass to watch the little people's reaction. I saw that inside the mud-built Daqian kingdom, Zhao Xuan was kneeling numbly in front of the altar. All the civil and military officials behind him were crying their eyes out. Just then, the sky suddenly went dark. Zhao Xuan lifted his head in confusion and saw 2 giant fingers like sky-reaching pillars, parting the clouds. Then, a meteorite glowing with strange light landed with a loud bang, right next to the altar. The entire capital city shook violently from the impact. Zhao Xuan was so scared he collapsed to the ground. Before he could even process what just happened, an enticing aroma swept across the entire city in an instant. A starved soldier chopped off a piece of the biscuit with his knife and swallowed it straight down. The next second, the soldier jumped up excitedly. Your Majesty, this is edible grain. It tastes so good. I feel like I have endless energy. Hearing that, Zhao Xuan didn't care about his imperial dignity anymore. He rushed to the biscuit crumb and chopped a piece off too. Sweet, warm energy immediately filled his whole body. Heaven sent immortal grain. This is a miracle. The true God has appeared. Zhao Xuan knelt down hard on the ground and kowtowed 3 times loudly. Zhao Xuan, the 9th emperor of Daqian, kowtows to Haochen God. Thank you for the immortal grain you bestowed. Thank you for saving our lives, great God. Seeing this scene, tens of thousands of people also started kowtowing like crazy. At the same time, a cold mechanical voice sounded in my head. Detected host has come into contact with the miniature. Daqian dynasty. Creator system bound successfully. Host's current identity. Haochen God. Duty. Feed and intervene in the Daqian dynasty. Obtain divine grace points. Divine grace points can be exchanged for advanced blueprints and professional skills. Current Daqian national fate is on the verge of collapse. 3 years of severe drought. Surrounded by foreign enemies, I stared at the half biscuit left in my hand, and the corners of my mouth lifted like crazy. I spent $50 on a tank and got a whole group of subjects for free. They even call me a god. Is there anything cooler than being a creator? I looked at the little people in the tank who were eating so happily. They'll choke to death if they only eat this stuff, right? So I filled a bottle cap with mineral water, poured it right down a dried-up riverbed. At this time, the people of Daqian were dividing up that immortal grain. Suddenly, someone pointed at the sky. It's the heavenly river, O Lord. Water is falling from the sky. All the little people looked in the direction he was pointing. They saw a huge red disc slowly tilting. A crystal-clear waterfall fell straight from the sky. The current filled up the riverbed in an instant. Seeing this, all the people of Daqian jumped into the moat. Wow, this water is actually sweet, and there's not a single bit of sediment in it. For these ancient people who only drank bitter well water before, mineral water was basically immortal nectar. Zhao Xuan held the clear river water in his hands excitedly. Haotian God hasn't abandoned Daqian. Daqian is saved. The system notification sounded again right at this moment. Creator has sent down sweet rain. Loyalty of Daqian people increased. Gained 500 divine grace points. I wiped my hands happily. Earning divine grace points is way too easy. Just when I was about to check out the system shop, I noticed a cloud of wolf smoke rising inside the ecosphere. I immediately leaned over the tank to take a closer look. A dark mass of soldiers was marching towards Daqian. They were riding strange beasts that looked like fleas. Everywhere they passed, all the villages of Daqian were slaughtered completely. I looked over at the capital city. The general guarding the city of Daqian knelt down in front of Zhao Xuan. Your Majesty, 30,000 cavalry from the Northern Wolf Clan are at the pass. All the border troops are wiped out. The Wolf Riders are only 10 miles outside the city. Our army has no way to turn the tide anymore. The people of Daqian who were just overjoyed a moment ago now felt icy cold. Zhao Xuan looked at the distant cavalry in despair. Wolf riders are cruel and savage by nature. Once they break through the city, they will definitely massacre the city for 10 days. Dakyan will cease to exist. Listen up, all soldiers. Defend the capital to the death. Even if we fight to the last man standing, we'll never let those barbarians take even one step inside. By now, the Wolf Clan army had arrived right outside the city walls. The Wolf Clan Khan wore a cruel, sinister grin on his face. Warriors, listen up. Get ready to massacre the entire city. Seeing what was happening, I grabbed a pair of long-handled tweezers. How dare you mess with the place I've got covered? You guys are really tired of living, huh? Right after I said that, I maneuvered the tweezers and slammed it precisely on the open ground in front of the Wolf Clan army. A deep crack split open in the ground immediately. Countless Wolf Clan soldiers fell right into it. In less than 10 seconds, the originally aggressive 30,000-strong army suffered over 50% casualties. The Wolf Clan Khan lifted his head in terror. What the hell is this monster? On the city wall, Zhao Xuan stared at this scene completely stunned. Divine power. This is the magic of the Haoshan god. As he spoke, he raised his long sword excitedly. Soldiers of the Great Qian, the Haoshan god is blessing us. Charge out and kill the enemies. The highly motivated Great Qian army rushed out of the city gate. They frantically hacked at the already terrified remaining Wolf Clan soldiers. After Zhao Xuan led his troops back with a great victory, a system notification sounded right after. Host has defeated the Wolf Clan army, resolved the crisis of Great Qian, gained 2,000 divine grace points. Congratulations to Host for obtaining the Zhug crossbow manufacturing blueprint. Do you want to use it on Zhao Xuan? I clicked confirm without any hesitation. The blueprint turned into a stream of light that drilled straight into Zhao Xuan's mind. After Zhao Xuan received the knowledge, he immediately led all the officials to kneel and bow. Thank you, Haoshan God, for your blessing. Great Qian is saved. I nodded my head in satisfaction. This is just the beginning. Since I'm playing this game, I'm gonna make Great Qian the most powerful empire ever. A whole month passed in the Great Qian dynasty in the blink of an eye. But from my perspective, it was only a couple of hours. For the tiny people in the ecological tank, this past month was a miraculous era of earth-shaking changes. I spent 2,000 points to buy blueprints for water wheels and fertilizers. I passed all the blueprints to Emperor Zhao Xuan in one go. Not just that. I also split a raw rice grain into dozens of tiny crumbs and planted them into the land of Great Qian. For the people of Great Qian, those were immortal rice seeds far larger than millstones. The parched land outside the capital regained its vitality again. The news that the Great Qian capital was blessed by the gods spread across the whole country very quickly. But the three major border military governors who held massive troops not only refused to come to the capital to pay respect, they even got greedy and jealous. The leaders of the three military governors hit it off immediately. They gathered 150,000 rebel troops under the banner of eliminating demons and evil spirits. They directly seized control of the three richest Jiangnan prefectures in the south, and relying on the natural barrier of Linjiang City, they firmly blocked the lifeline of Great Qian. The rebel leader even put up a wooden sign on the city wall, with insults against the gods written on it using dog blood, to boost the morale of their troops. Inside Linjiang City, the rebel leader was drinking and having fun in his mansion, with a beautiful concubine in his arms. What bullshit, Haoshan God. If he's got the guts, let him split this Linjiang City of mine apart. Even heavenly thunder can't blast through my city walls. I sneered when I heard that. He even dared to insult me to my face. You want to be a coward hiding in your shell, huh? Just you wait. I rummaged around in my drawer for a while and took out a few glass marbles I played with as a kid. I put one marble on my finger, aimed at Linjiang City and flicked it gently. The next second, the marble shot straight through the gate of Linjiang City, killing a whole bunch of rebels. The rebel leader felt the violent shaking and scrambled out into the courtyard in a panic. What the hell was that? Is it actually heavenly thunder? I grinned when I saw that. Looks like my aim is still as good as it was back then. But we're not done yet. Then I shot the marbles in my hand one by one. Each marble bombarded Linjiang City, smashing the city walls into powder in an instant. The huge shockwave also caused all the surrounding buildings to collapse. The rebels didn't even have time to scream before they died. In just 1 minute, the supposedly impregnable Linjiang City was turned into a pile of ruins. When Zhao Xuan saw that scene from afar, he kowtowed crazily in my direction, his feeling of reverence reaching its peak. At this moment, the system notification sounded again. Host has displayed divine power. Great Qian has completed the unification of the whole country. Gained 8,000 divine grace points. Conditions for Great Qian's civilization level upgrade are met. Unlocked basic iron smelting blueprint and black powder formula. I smiled and picked the glass marbles back up. The cold weapon era is over. Next, let's let Great Chen experience the art of explosions. After putting down the 3 major military governor rebellions, the Great Chen dynasty entered an unprecedented golden age, with the iron smelting and black powder techniques I taught them. The first batch of cannons was pushed onto the city walls. But I know full well, a civilization's leap often comes with ambitions for power. One day I was bored with nothing to do. I patrolled my territory with a magnifying glass. When my gaze swept past the gunpowder depot of the Ministry of War in the capital, I spotted a few sneaky figures. I held up the magnifying glass and took a closer look. It was none other than Da Qian's former Grand Chancellor Lin Yuan and his trusted aides. Lin Yuan pointed at a pile of black gunpowder. The Crown Prince will test fire the new cannon this afternoon. Take all this top-grade gunpowder and replace it entirely with damp coal cinders. Then take the cannon prepared for the Crown Prince and stuff it full of iron grit. Hearing this, the trusted aides trembled all over. Chancellor, if the cannon bursts its barrel, His Highness the Crown Prince will be blown to bits. Lin Yuan let out a cold snort. Getting blown to bits is exactly what I want. The Emperor is obsessed with that so-called god, and handed all power over the realm to the Crown Prince. As soon as the Crown Prince dies, I will stage a coup in the chaos. Why shouldn't the Daqian throne belong to the Lin family? I let out a cold laugh after hearing this. Playing palace schemes right under the creator's nose. Do you really think I'm blind? To deal with this kind of lowlife, I don't even bother using physical methods. I thought for a split second, and activated the system's divine announcement broadcast function. Next, my voice echoed across the entire sky of Daqian's capital. Grand Chancellor Lin Yuan is hiding in the underground gunpowder depot, plotting to damage the cannon and murder the Crown Prince. Arrest him immediately. No mistakes are allowed. As my divine voice faded, all civilians in Daqian's capital were stunned. Murmurs of discussion popped up everywhere. I turned my gaze to the imperial study. Emperor Zhaoxuan slammed the table and stood up abruptly. That old dog, Lin Yuan, how dare you scheme against the Crown Prince? Do you think I'm a useless decoration? The god has already revealed Lin Yuan's hiding spot. Mobilize all imperial guards in the city. Arrest Lin Yuan and all his accomplices right now. Bring him to me. I will cut this traitor into 1,000 pieces. The imperial guards set off immediately after receiving the order, and completely surrounded the gunpowder depot. By this time, Lin Yuan had already collapsed to the ground. Is the god really all-knowing and all-powerful? I'm totally done for. The imperial guards kicked the gate of the gunpowder depot open violently, and dragged Lin Yuan out. That same afternoon, Lin Yuan was executed by slow slicing. Seeing this scene, I was in a fantastic mood. Whoever says palace schemes are hard, I definitely disagree. I diffused a huge crisis easily with just one sentence. How are palace schemes hard at all? Thinking of this, I flopped down on the sofa. It's the peak of summer in the real world. I casually turned on the air conditioner's cooling mode, and the temperature dropped straight to 16 degrees Celsius. Just then, the system's cold notification tone rang in my head. Warning, host has activated air conditioner cooling. A super strong cold current will soon sweep across all Daqian territory. Severe cold is coming. If no action is taken in time, Daqian will fall into an unprecedented survival crisis. Hearing this, I took a close look. Cold wind was blowing out of the air conditioner vent and blew right into the ecosphere tank. For me, this is just a nice cool breeze, but for the Daqian dynasty inside the ecosphere tank, it feels like the ice age has arrived. I turned off the air conditioner immediately. Oh shit, I forgot about this. Then I ran quickly to the ecosphere tank. Strong winds were howling inside the miniature world. The moat had long been frozen solid. Water vapor in the air condensed and turned into palm-sized hailstones that fell down. Unprepared, Daqian civilians were frozen purple all over and fell to the snow in large groups. Xiaoshen looked up at the sky in despair. Great Haoshan Emperor above. Please save Daqian again. Save my people. I looked at the messy ecosphere tank. The miniature world's temperature regulation ability is too weak. If I wait for the temperature to rise naturally, the humans inside will probably be extinct already. So I rushed to the wardrobe and dug out an old cotton jacket I don't use anymore and pulled out handfuls of fluffy down. Then I picked up these down clumps with tweezers and spread them evenly above Daqian cities, forming a huge heat preservation cover. Daqian civilians looked up in shock. What's falling now doesn't look like snow. It looks like huge goose feathers. And these goose feathers are so warm. It must be full immortal clouds sent down by the god. Seeing this scene, The half-frozen civilians immediately crawled into the down. I also placed a small space heater next to the ecosphere tank to balance the temperature inside the tank. After the temperature went back to normal, I picked out all the down pieces with tweezers again. Zhao Sun kowtowed to the sky with tears streaming down his face. Thank the great Haitian god for your protection, for saving Datian once again. The system beeped again. Host has resolved the Ice Age crisis and saved the people of the Great Chen dynasty. You've earned 10,000 Divine Grace points, unlocked item disassembling, and teleportation permissions. You can break down any item however you want and teleport it to the miniature world. I immediately felt guilty when I heard that. After all, I was the one who caused this crisis. I never expected I'd get Divine Grace points for fixing my own mess. Wait, can I farm Divine Grace points using this glitch? But I shut that thought down immediately. I'd rather be a good god that loves his people like his own kids. If I mess up bad one time, it's all over. I tested out my new ability again. This breakdown ability is actually pretty great. For situations like the one earlier, I can break down feathers into the right size and distribute them evenly to every resident. When I put down the feathers earlier, I was so scared I'd crush a tiny life by accident. Then I flopped down on the couch to get some sleep. Being a god isn't an easy job after all. Next morning, I woke up and stretched. I caught a glimpse of the ecosphere on the coffee table out of the corner of my eye. It looked like a total mess inside. I was wide awake instantly. I dashed right over to the ecosphere. The Great Qian dynasty was engulfed in flames. Most of the city walls have collapsed. Tiny people on the streets are running for their lives everywhere. I frowned when I saw this. It's only been peaceful for a few days. Why are they fighting again? Are there still remaining rebels that got away? I leaned closer to the ecosphere to take a closer look. The hair on my arm stood straight up instantly. Inside the tank, there was a bird-eating spider the size of an adult's fist that had crawled in. To me, it was just a little scary at most. But for the tiny people in the ecosphere, this wasn't a spider at all. It was an apocalypse-level ancient demon beast. The city defense general waved his sword and yelled, "Fire at will! Don't let this monster get close to the palace!" Dozens of cannons from Great Qian fired all at once. Dozens of cannonballs hit the bird-eating spider, but they didn't hurt it at all. The bird-eating spider got hit by the cannon fire and swung one of its front legs hard at the crowd. Hundreds of Great Qian soldiers fell instantly. Next, it opened its mouth wide and spat out a stream of sickly green venom. A large area of civilian houses was corroded into black water in seconds. Zhao Xuan personally led the troops to draw the spider's attention and cover the people's retreat. Hold on a little longer, everyone. Hold out until the great Haitian god arrives. He will definitely kill this demon beast. I slammed my fist on the table angrily when I heard this. Where did this stupid spider come from? How dare it bully my people? It's got a death wish, huh? I grabbed a compass and pinned the spider hard to the spot. The bird-eating spider let out a shrill scream. It tried desperately to pounce on Zhao Xuan, but it couldn't move an inch. Seeing that the spider could no longer move, I hurried to the utility room and took out my heavy-duty electric fly swatter. After I walked over to the ecosphere, I pressed the electric fly swatter hard against the bird-eating spider. From the perspective of the Great Chen people, the entire sky was covered by a giant net, and heavenly thunder followed right after. In just 1 second, the spider was roasted into a pile of charcoal. After a moment of dead silence, deafening cheers erupted across the entire Great Chen dynasty. Zhao Xuan knelt in front of the ruins of the palace, looking at the thunder divine net retracting from the sky. The great Haitian god has sent down the 9 heavens' mysterious thunder. Long live the great Haitian god. I turned off the switch of the electric fly swatter. The system beeped again. Host has defeated the apocalyptic demon beast with thunder and protected the Great Chen civilization. You've earned 50,000 Divine Grace points. 1 month later in the miniature world, in the main square of Great Chen, a pure gold statue of me was erected. Now, the first thing I do after waking up every day is take a magnifying glass and patrol the miniature world. After all, the Great Chen people are super devout now. Divine Grace points are flowing in nonstop. Looking at my own kingdom more makes me feel really good, but today I spotted a few weird tiny people. Their clothes are totally different from the Great Chen people's. Something's obviously off about them. The leader looked around cautiously and took a bundle of bombs out of his pocket. His 3 accomplices immediately gathered around him and quickly stuffed the fuse into the corner of the gunpowder depot. The leader lit the fuse with a sneer. Once this bomb goes off, half the capital will be blown to pieces. When I saw this, I picked up the half cup of cold boiled water on the table and used my item breakdown ability. A water droplet the size of a grain of rice flew accurately towards the ecosphere. and put out the burning spark on the fuse. The leader stared at the fuse in total shock, then looked up at the completely cloudless sky. What's going on? Where did that water come from? The leader tried a few more times unwillingly, but I put out every single one of his attempts. Furious, the leader strapped an explosive pack to his own body. I don't buy that, this is unbeatable. You guys cover me while I rush inside. His subordinates hesitated and glanced at the explosive pack. The boss lit the fuse straight away. That's way too dangerous. We'll get caught in the blast too. The leader pulled out a fire striker. What the hell are you scared of if we blow up this armory? Half of the Great Chen capital will be gone. Even if we die together, it's a huge merit. By this point, I was already bored of playing. I condensed water into 4 water bubbles. The bubbles darted straight towards the 4 spies. In just a few seconds, all 4 were trapped inside the bubble cages. They struggled like crazy, but they couldn't break through that thin water membrane no matter what. The leader banged on the bubble in terror. What the hell is this thing? Who's playing tricks with fake magic? Then I summoned the Divine Eagle to inform Zhao Xuan of the situation here. A moment later, Great Qin's Imperial Guards rushed over with torches in hand. After Zhao Xuan saw the scene clearly, he saluted towards the sky excitedly, thanked the gods for sending down the divine water. To protect Great Qian's state and society, the Imperial Guards and officials behind him also reacted. They knelt down together and shouted, "Haoshan God, your divine grace is boundless." The system notification sounded again. Host has displayed the omnipotent divine power. The people of Great Qian, their faith level has reached fanatical. You have obtained pleasure 30,000 divine grace points. The sound effect of divine grace points increasing put me in a great mood. These points are coming in way too fast. I glanced at the spies who were already rolling their eyes. Then I had a thought. The water balls trapping them burst instantly. The half-dead spies fell straight to the ground. Seeing this, Zhao Xuan waved coldly and ordered to take them away. I'd like to see who dares to cause trouble right under Haoshan God's nose. The Imperial Guards immediately tied up the spies tightly. The interrogation went much faster than expected. The leader spat out a mouthful of blood. We are from the Giant Spirit Kingdom. Great Qian has had repeated divine miracles lately, which caught our emperor's attention. But don't think you're invincible in the world. Zhao Xuan frowned when he heard this. What kind of place is the Giant Spirit Kingdom? Why have I never heard of it before? The presiding ministers also looked at each other in confusion. Hearing this, the spy laughed maniacally. You bunch of frogs in a well. On the other side of the endless sea, our Giant Spirit Kingdom is the real overlord. Our territory is 10 times larger than Great Qian's. Our invincible fleet has already crossed the sea. They will reach your coast in less than 7 days. Your so-called Haoshan God, can he stop our 1,000 warships? Once the fleet arrives, your Great Qian will be turned into scorched earth, and your people will be our slaves for generations. Zhao Xuan kicked him over when he heard this. How dare you disrespect Haoshan God? Drag him out and execute him by slicing. As the spy was dragged away, Zhao Xuan's face turned extremely grim. He walked quickly to the altar, knelt down and said, Haoshan God, Great Qian is still recovering from all damages. Now these overseas barbarians are attacking with all their national power. Great Qian's navy is very weak. I'm afraid we can't resist them. Right at this moment, the ecosphere in front of me had a strange fluctuation. The east side of the ecosphere suddenly started expanding. The original frosted glass extended outwards, and a stretch of ocean appeared. At the end of the ocean, a huge outline of a continent could be vaguely seen. Dense black dots were sailing towards them through the waves. Through the magnifying glass, I could see clearly that they were thousands of ferocious-looking sailing ships, with the flags of the Giant Spirit Kingdom hanging on them. At the same time, the system panel popped up in front of me. Ecosphere world map expanded. War mode has been deactivated. New power Giant Spirit Kingdom detected. Looking at the approaching fleet in the ecosphere, a desire to conquer rose in my heart instantly. I want all forces to submit to my divine power. Thinking of this, I picked up the desktop fan I use for cooling. It's time for you overseas barbarians to experience what a high-dimensional weather shock feels like. 10 minutes later, the 1,000-ship fleet blockaded all the coastlines of the Great Qin dynasty. The ships were full of Giant Spirit Kingdom soldiers wearing heavy armor. The Giant Spirit Kingdom Navy general walked to the bow. Listen up, you brat Zhao Xuan! I'm your grandpa Chi-Hu. Our Giant Spirit Kingdom 1,000-ship fleet is here. How dare you call those dozens of broken fishing boats a navy? If you know what's good for you, open the gates and surrender right now, and tear down that stupid golden statue of your god in the city. Then I might spare your miserable life. On the city wall of Daqian Kingdom, Minister of War knelt down with a pale face, Your Majesty. The enemy fleet has sunk 3 of our patrol boats already. The naval commander is guarding the estuary with the remaining ships, but our ships are way too small. We can't stop their charge at all. Zhao Xuan stared at the coastline furiously. We have the blessing of Haoshan God, and the cannons bestowed by God. Even if they have more ships, they'll never set foot on our Dakian land. Pass my order. Load all coastal defense cannons now. Aim at the enemy ships. Hit them as hard as you can. As soon as he gave the order, all coastal batteries opened fire at the same time. Dozens of shells roared towards the Juling Kingdom fleet. But Chihu just let out a cold sneer. Then he waved his hand sharply. Several layers of obsidian shields rose instantly on both sides of the fleet. The iron shells hit the shields. Only a few sparks came off. Seeing this scene, Chihu doubled over laughing. This is the weapon your bullshit god gave you. Can't even pierce my shield. How dare you take it out to make a fool of yourselves? Let me show you what real firepower is. All troops listen up. Blow their batteries to pieces. The next second, hundreds of cannons on Juling Kingdom's fleet fired at the same time. Shells rained down on the coast. All of Dakian's cannons on the batteries were destroyed. Gunners were blown away directly. Messengers ran up the city wall one after another. Your Majesty, the West Battery is blown up. The Navy can't hold on anymore. The 3rd detachment is totally wiped out. The enemy is about to land. Zhao Xuan listened to the bad news one after another, kneeled on the city wall in despair. Haotian God, please show your divine power. Save the people of Dakian. The city defense soldiers behind him also knelt down, shouted in unison towards the sky. Please, Haotian God, show your divine power. Protect our Dakian. After hearing this, Chihu shook his head in disdain. You're already at death's door, still counting on your bullshit god. A bunch of frogs in the well. Even if he really comes, I'll flip him right into the sea too. Outside the ecosystem tank, I watched this scene, pointed the electric fan at the 1,000-sail fleet, then pressed the switch of the small electric fan. The fan blades rotated slowly, a breeze that felt extremely gentle to me. Blew into the ecosystem tank. But for the miniaturized world, this was a world-destroying hurricane that could ruin everything. The sea that was calm just a second ago instantly raised dozens of meters high huge waves. The Juling Kingdom fleet was torn wildly by strong wind and waves, blown to bits and pieces. The wild laugh on Chihu's face froze instantly. He gripped the ship side tightly. Where did this hurricane come from? Hurry up and steady the ships. At this moment, 100-meter high. Huge waves slammed down hard. The flagship was instantly broken in half. Chihu didn't even have time to scream. Before being swallowed by the surging seawater, the remaining warships were even more miserable to see. In just a moment, the arrogant 1,000-sail fleet was completely wiped out. Only floating broken wood was left on the sea surface, and a few Juling Kingdom soldiers struggling in the water. Zhao Xuan and the people of Dakian stared at this scene dumbfounded. A full dozen seconds passed before Zhao Xuan came to his senses, kowtowed heavily again. Haotian God sent the divine wind, killed the barbarians, protected our Dakian. The power of faith converged like a tide. At the same time, the system prompt sounded again in my mind. Host eliminated. Juling Kingdom's 1,000-sail fleet resolved Dakian's national crisis. Gained 100,000 divine grace points. Detected host's current accumulated divine grace points exceeded $200,000. System all advanced permission unlocked. I looked at the skyrocketing divine grace points on the system panel, nodded in satisfaction. I made a huge profit this time. Dakian's current equipment was indeed a dimensionality reduction strike 3 months ago, but facing the overseas forces that appeared after the map update, they are totally not competitive anymore. To let Dakian gain a firm foothold and even unify the whole miniaturized world, we have to unlock more core tech trees for them. So I opened the system mall. My eyes quickly scanned through various blueprints. After careful selection, I bought the steam engine manufacturing blueprint, precision industrial master lathe blueprint, and generator blueprint. These 3 blueprints are the core of the whole modern industrial system. It's also the foundation for the full upgrade of all weapons and equipment. After I confirmed the exchange, the system notification sounded immediately. Purchase successful. 80,000 divine grace points deducted. Blueprints have been synced to the host's permission library. Do you want to inject the knowledge into Zhao Xuan? Hearing that, I had a quick thought. Confirm knowledge injection. 3 golden streams of light appeared out of thin air and went straight into Zhao Xuan's mind accurately. Zhao Xuan on the city wall jolted violently all over. Countless mechanical principles flooded into his brain. A full quarter of an hour passed before he slowly opened his eyes. He prostrated himself towards the sky again. To kowtow in gratitude, Haochin God has granted us supreme immortal magic. May Dakian last forever. We will always be grateful for the divine grace. Then I took all the remaining divine grace points and exchanged all of them for weapon blueprints and taught all of them to Zhao Xuan at once. I looked at the inside of the ecosphere, where everything was quickly becoming bustling and energetic, and my heart was filled with a strong sense of achievement. Time flows much faster in the ecosphere than in the real world. In just 3 days of real-world time, the entire Dakian has set off a crazy wave of weapon innovation. With the knowledge I granted them, the craftsmen only spent 1 month to build the first standard precision lathe. With this industrial master machine, they finally successfully produced gun barrels, rifling and gunbolt parts, which completely solved all drawbacks of smoothbore cannons. The first mortar was successfully developed soon after. On the day of the shooting range test, I also went there in person to watch. After the gunner pulled the breech block, the shell accurately hit the target 20 li away and blew the stone wall into tiny pieces. All civil and military officials present gasped in shock. The old red-clothed cannons we used before only had a maximum range of 3 la. Whether they could hit the target all depended on luck. But this new cannon not only has 6 to 7 times longer range, its accuracy is also unbelievably high. The immortal magic granted by God is absolutely miraculous. Zhao Xuan stared at the smoking muzzle excitedly. Start full mass production of this cannon immediately. Within 3 months, I want all hidden batteries, and all warships equipped with this divine cannon. Right after that, Dakian developed the steam engine. Previously, Dakian's naval warships only relied on wind power, and their hulls were fragile wooden structures that broke easily. After we got the steam engine, the Ministry of Works only spent 1.5 months to build the first all-steel, steam-armored warship. Its hull is covered with alloy-forged armor. 6 breech-loading rapid-fire cannons are installed on each side of the ship, and there is a heavy siege cannon at the bow. It is not just the Navy. The Army's equipment has also undergone earth-shaking changes. With the industrial master machine and steam engine, the craftsmen built tracked armored vehicles, and Dakian's first bolt-action rifle. I looked at the completely transformed Dakian through a magnifying glass. The smile on my face grew wider and wider. Then I activated the Divine Realm broadcast function. The Juling Kingdom has invaded Dakian and killed my people. Now Dakian's military force is at its peak. Deploy troops immediately to raise the Juling Kingdom to the ground. If the sky falls, I will hold it up for you. Hearing this, Zhao Xuan immediately knelt down towards the sky. Zhao Xuan strictly abides by Haochin God's decree. I will lead the army to raise the Juling Kingdom to the ground and avenge all our past humiliations. Zhao Xuan issued the expedition order the same day. 12 armored warships sailed out of the port in a mighty procession. I shifted my gaze to the waters of the Juling Kingdom. I saw the Juling Kingdom's Navy commander, staring at the approaching fleet with a disdainful look. I thought it was something serious. Turns out it's that brat Zhao Xuan bringing his pile of scrap metal. Here to die! They just got stupid lucky last time. They won 1 battle with some weird demonic wind, and now they actually think they're something great. How dare they attack me with those tin shell ships? Send orders to Juling Valley. I command the entire army to attack. Let them know who is the real master of the sea. As soon as he finished speaking, Juling's entire navy deployed all at once. The Juling commander lifted a megaphone and taunted loudly again. Hey Zhao Xuan, if you surrender right now, I'll even let you die with your whole body intact. The Juling soldiers behind him also burst into laughter. Zhao Xuan didn't say any nonsense at all. He directly drew the longsword at his waist and shouted, "Attack!" At his order, the main cannons of the 12 armored warships fired at the same time. Juling's warships were instantly blown to sawdust. After 1 round of salvo, the Juling Kingdom's navy was instantly dumbfounded. They never could have imagined that the warships they were so proud of were no different from paper in front of Dakian's cannons. Explosions kept ringing out one after another on the sea surface. After several rounds of salvo, Juling's proud 800 warships were completely wiped out. Zhao Xuan waved his hand expressionlessly. Whole army advance. Land on the coast of the Juling Kingdom. Avenge the dead Dakian people. Dakian's army rode landing crafts and charged onto the beach. Set up the Maxim heavy machine guns. Fired wildly at the desperate defending troops of the giant Spirit Kingdom. In less than 2 hours, the coastal defense line of the giant Spirit Kingdom completely collapsed. The Dakian army marched all the way in, headed straight for the capital of the giant Spirit Kingdom. I turned to observe the scene inside the giant Spirit Kingdom's capital. In the imperial court, Manli, emperor of the giant Spirit Kingdom, slumped on the dragon throne. The Dakian army is almost at the gates of the capital. Hurry up and think of a solution for me. The ministers below looked at each other in confusion. Right at this moment, the National Master knelt down with a thud. Your Majesty, I have one last plan. Summon the deep sea god we have worshipped for generations. As long as the sea god descends to the mortal world, he will definitely wipe out the entire Dakian army and make that lousy Haoshin supreme god pay the price too. Manly jumped up from the dragon throne at once. Prepare the sacrifice right now. I will personally ascend the altar to invite the sea god to descend. Kill every last one of those Dakian bastards. I got interested when I heard that. I want to see for myself what mystery this second-hand ecosystem tank can hold. After a moment, the giant spirit kingdom held the event right by the coast. A grand sacrificial ceremony. Manly knelt down personally holding offerings in his hands, praying for the sea god to descend. The next second, from the crack of the rock inside the ecosystem tank, a hermit crab slowly crawled out. Seeing that, the corners of my mouth twitched like crazy. I thought they were going to pull off something cool. Turns out it's just a hermit crab that's been playing dead this whole time. But I underestimated this hermit crab and its dimensionality reduction attack on the tiny people. At this moment, the hermit crab waved its pincers and crawled towards the Dakian fleet. Just by moving casually, it smashed 3 of Dakian's vanguard gunboats. The Dakian soldiers panicked immediately. The frontline general immediately ordered to open fire. But bullets and shells had no effect hitting the crab shell. The hermit crab kept crawling slowly. One ironclad ship after another was crushed and scrapped. Everyone was caught in extreme panic. Manly pointed at the Dakian fleet and laughed out loud. See that? This is the sea god of our giant spirit kingdom. This is the real god. Where's that lousy Haoshin supreme god of yours? Does he dare to show up? He's not even worthy of being compared to our sea god. When the sea god crushes all your fleets, he'll go tear down your golden statue and crush your entire Dakian kingdom. Your god can't save you. Our sea god is the only true god in the world. My face turned cold immediately after hearing that. How dare they say I'm worse than a stupid broken crab? I reached my hand right into the tank, grabbed the hermit crab still waving its pincers aggressively, and lifted it out of the water easily. Seeing this scene, everyone in the giant spirit kingdom was dumbfounded. What are these sky-high pillars? The sea god was actually taken away. I held the hermit crab up in front of my eyes. I squeezed a little with my fingers. The hermit crab was crushed to pieces by me right away. I tossed its remains back into the ecosystem tank casually. Manly and all giant spirit kingdom people stood frozen on the spot. Our god is dead. The faith of the giant spirit kingdom completely collapsed. They didn't even have the courage to resist anymore. Manly's legs gave out under him. On the Dakian side, earth-shattering cheers erupted. Long live the Haoshin supreme god. Crush the giant spirit kingdom. Prove the might of our god. The Dakian army, with soaring morale, rushed towards the giant spirit kingdom like a tide. They took the capital in only a few hours. The giant spirit kingdom was completely wiped out. The territory of the Dakian dynasty expanded by a full 10 times. I used my transfer ability to move all accumulated wealth, food, and forage of the giant spirit kingdom back to the Dakian homeland. What's even better is that within the giant spirit kingdom's territory, there are several large iron ore mines that completely made up for Dakian's resource shortage and gave the already fast-growing industrial system an extra boost. In just 1 month, railway tracks were already laid all the way to the giant spirit kingdom. Tons of ore were transported to factories in the Dakian homeland. I leaned back on the couch while watching the system panel, where the divine grace value kept jumping up, and listening to the tiny people in the miniature world, praising me nonstop day and night. I was filled with a sense of accomplishment. The fall of the giant spirit kingdom not only let Dakian gain a firm foothold completely, but also completely stabilize my divine status. Even in the most remote villages of Dakian, my statues have been put up. Every household worships me every day. The power of faith flows in continuously. I originally thought, after this battle, no force in this miniature world would dare oppose Dakian anymore. But I forgot one thing. Even if you did nothing wrong, you become a target if you own something precious. Dakian rose to power too quickly, which already made all other forces on this land lose sleep and worry about it all day. At this moment, the world map of the ecosphere updates again. Besides the central continent where Dacian is located, 4 more vast continents appeared around it. Dozens of large and small countries are distributed across them. Just 3 months after the fall of the Juling Kingdom, the 4 most powerful forces secretly sent envoys in the Black Market Empire far away from Dacian, held an alliance meeting. However, I saw every single move they made. In the secret chamber of the Black Market Empire's imperial palace, the leaders of the four forces were all gathered together. Shijian, Emperor of the Black Market Empire, sat in the main seat, glancing at everyone present. Everyone, Daqian's ambition is already abundantly clear. It's only 3 months since they wiped out the Dueling Kingdom. Their railroad tracks have already been laid to the west continent. Their ironclad ships hang around outside our ports every day. If this keeps going, their army will be right at our doorstep. The high priest of the Eternal Tribe let out a long sigh. The reason Daqian is so powerful is all thanks to that so-called Hauten god they worship. Their iron ships and cannons are all gifts from that god. If we fight them head-on, we have 0 chance of winning. The Khan of the Golden Horde. Khanate slammed his fist on the table. Then what do? We can't win a direct fight. Are we supposed to just kneel down and surrender and hand over our territory on a silver platter? None of the men of the Golden Horde Khanate are cowardly enough to surrender. Just then, Shikan took a sip of wine. Fighting head-on won't work. We can play dirty. Daqian looks strong and prosperous, but it's full of flaws inside. The former followers of the Dueling Kingdom are full of resentment. As long as we secretly support them, we can set their backyard on fire. That's not all. I'll also send suicide squads to infiltrate Daqian and blow up their factories. Hearing that, the high priest let out a sinister sneer. We can also send people to spread rumors, saying that Hyoshin God is an evil god, as long as we shake the people's faith and cut off their god's power. Daqian will fall sooner or later. Everyone kept chiming in. The more they talked, the more feasible the plan seemed. Shijin suddenly pulled out the dagger at his waist and cut a gash in his palm, dripping blood into the wine bowl in front of him. Today, the 4 of us swear a blood oath alliance. After we succeed, we will split Daqian's land and wealth equally among the 5 of us. If anyone breaks this oath, he shall be destroyed by heaven and earth. The other 3 leaders also cut their palms one after another, dripping their blood into the wine bowl, then drank it all in one go. But I didn't make any reckless moves. First, I want to test Zhao Xuan to see if he can handle these crises on his own. If he always lives in a greenhouse, Daqian will never make real progress. Second, I also want to see how loyal Daqian's people are to me, and if they can be easily bewitched. Half a month later, Daqian's main railroad line had a problem first. A deafening explosion went off. Hundreds of meters of railroad tracks were blown twisted and deformed, and a huge pit was blown out in the roadbed. A steam train passing by derailed on the spot. The carriages tipped over. The soldiers and workers on board suffered heavy casualties. Zhao Xuan immediately sent people to investigate. But before the investigation results came out, bad news kept coming one after another. The steam engine manufacturing plant on the outskirts of the capital caught fire suddenly in the middle of the night. By the time the firefighting officers and soldiers arrived, the entire factory had been burned to the ground. Right after that, spies from the 4 countries started spreading rumors wildly. They said I was an evil god and had already abandoned all the people and left. That's why all these disasters keep happening. But no matter how the rumors spread, no one in Daqian wavered at all. From the imperial court to the common people, all the people firmly believed Hyodian God would never abandon them. All officials performed their duties properly. The people lived in an orderly manner. No one abandoned their faith. One day, enemy troops raided a small village on Daqian's border. The village wasn't big, but every household enshrined my statue. After the enemy broke through the village entrance, they immediately herded all the villagers to the center of the square. The leader pointed at the god statue disdainfully and yelled, "Listen up, your Hyoshin god ran away long ago. He doesn't care if you live or die at all. Now everyone grab a hammer and smash this crappy statue for me. Whoever dares to refuse, I'll kill him right now." As soon as he finished speaking, the village chief stepped forward leaning on his crutch. Hyoshin God has saved Daqian from danger many times. For our entire lives, we will never betray our god. If you want to smash the statue, you'll have to step over my old body first. All the villagers, young and old, stood in a line in front of the stone statue. Seeing this, the rebel leader drew his long knife and held it against the village chief's neck. "You old fool, you're still being stubborn when you're about to die. Where is your god now? If he really exists, why doesn't he come save you? I think you're just a bunch of fooled idiots. Even if I raise this whole village to the ground today, your damn god still won't show up." Right at this moment, outside the ecosphere, I flicked my finger lightly and activated my matter decomposition ability. A gust of wind crashed down. Over a dozen rebel soldiers were instantly sent flying outward and slammed hard into the wall, unable to move at all. I raised my hand again. The ground in the center of the square suddenly rose up. Several stone walls securely shielded the villagers and the statue in the middle. The next second, my voice spread across every inch of Great Chen's land. I have never left. How dare you hurt my people? Your crime is unforgivable. Today you will pay the price for what you did. With that, I waved my hand again. Hundreds of water needles fell from the sky and killed all the rebel soldiers. Then I looked toward the direction of the Great Qin Imperial Palace. Zhaoxuan, since the four kingdoms are actively seeking death, you shall lead the entire Great Qin army to crusade against the rebels. I grant you brand new divine armor and immortal magic. Zhaoxuan bowed respectfully toward the sky. I shall follow your divine oracle, Lord. I stood in front of the ecosphere, looking down at the entire miniature world. By now, Great Qian had fully regained its strength. Factories ran around the clock. Its national strength reached an unprecedented peak. The first target I chose to attack was the Golden Horde located on the northern continent. This place is an endless prairie. The entire population of the country is trained as soldiers. Cavalry is their absolute core force. They have millions of elite cavalry. The Golden Horde Khan banged the table and laughed wildly in his royal tent. Great Qian's ships are just scrap iron once they reach the prairie. They can't play to their advantages at all on the grassland. My 1,000,000 troops only need to charge once, to crush all of Great Qian's factories and railways. I'd like to see what else their god can do about this. I sneered when I heard that. Since the enemy dominates the world with their cavalry, then I'll give Great Qian a set of war machines specifically designed to counter cavalry. So I opened the system store and spent 500,000 divine grace points in one go to directly exchange for tracked assault vehicles, high-altitude hot air balloons, and core blueprints for semi-automatic anti-tank rifles. These 3 sets of equipment are perfectly suited for prairie terrain. With a single thought, the blueprints turned into streams of light and entered Zhaoxuan's mind. He immediately ordered full-scale production to start, to build the God-given equipment at all costs. One day later, the Great Qian army completed an unprecedented equipment upgrade. After everything was ready, Zhaoxuan personally led 100,000 soldiers of the Northern Legion and advanced into the northern continent. The Golden Horde Khan lined up 300,000 elite cavalry for battle. He sat on his tall warhorse, looking at the slowly advancing Great Qian army in the distance. With these weird-looking iron boxes, you dare to fight against my prairie lions. Today I'll let you know who is the real overlord of the prairie. All troops charge. At his order, 300,000 cavalry waved their curved sabers and roared as they charged toward the Great Qian camp. But the second the cavalry entered the firing range, a loud roar suddenly came from the sky. Dozens of huge hot air balloons rose into the air and hovered above the cavalry formation. The next second, countless high-explosive shells fell from the sky and exploded violently in the dense crowd of cavalry. War horses panicked and ran wildly. The originally neat charging formation fell into chaos instantly. Seeing this scene, the Golden Horde Khan's face changed drastically, but Great Qian didn't give him time to react. Dozens of tracked prairie assault vehicles rushed out with a roar. The assault vehicles moved on the grass as easily as on flat ground. The heavy machine guns on the roof spurted long streams of fire. Golden Horde cavalry fell down in rows. They couldn't get close at all. A small number of tough soldiers rushed to the side of the vehicles and swung their knives with all their strength to chop at them, but it only made clinking noises. They couldn't even leave a single scratch. In just half an hour, over half of the 300,000 elite cavalry were dead or injured. The remaining soldiers completely broke down and fled in all directions. The Golden Horde Khan was stunned. His legs went weak and fell straight off his horse. Atagando de oba on his horse, and put his sword across the Khan's neck. The Golden Horde has harmed the people of Great Qian. Today is the day your country perishes. With that, Zhaoxuan beheaded the Khan on the spot. A system notification sound rang at this moment. Host assisted Great Qian in the annihilation. The Golden Horde Khanat receives 200,000 divine grace points and unlocks the grassland resource mining permission. The vast grasslands provide countless top-quality warhorses, allowing Dakian to quickly build a powerful cavalry force that works perfectly with the steam-armored units. After pacifying the northern region, I set my sights on the southern continent. This place is covered with dense jungles. It's the territory of the Eternal Tribe. This faction doesn't maintain a large, regular army, but are experts at using poisons and controlling poisonous insects and beasts. Every soldier carries poison supplies with them. They can take people's lives without anyone noticing. They've set up countless poison formations deep in the jungle. If we attack rashly, we'll definitely be worn down to death in the jungle. So I decided to upgrade Dakian's equipment again. I exchanged for a full set of anti-poison gear. flamethrowers, and universal antidote potions. All Dakian soldiers got a complete upgrade. After the army marched into the southern border jungle, countless poisonous insects swarmed up. But Dakian soldiers' protective suits were fully sealed. They didn't fear bites at all. Then all the soldiers raised their flamethrowers together. After a short moment, all the poisonous insects were burned to cinders. Seeing this, the Eternal Tribe soldiers were scared out of their wits. How can there be such powerful fire in this world? Our poisonous insects are no match for them at all. The high priest, watching the battle from afar, waved his hand angrily. Activate the poison formations. In an instant, countless poisonous butterflies carrying toxic powder flew over, like a cloud of black miasma. Even stones were corroded with pits wherever they passed. However, Dakian soldiers' gas masks can perfectly block the toxic powder. When the flamethrowers swept across again, groups of poisonous butterflies were burned to ashes. They couldn't even get within 10 meters of the army at all. At this point, the high priest personally led elite warriors forward, chanting strange incantations. But as soon as they showed up, their positions were spotted by jungle reconnaissance vehicles. Zhao Xuan immediately ordered to open fire. Dozens of light mortars fired at the same time. The shells landed accurately in the crowd of warriors. The warriors suffered heavy casualties. They didn't even have a chance to cast any more powerful poison spells. Dakian's army continued to advance steadily. Along the way, all the poison formations were all destroyed. The Eternal Tribe's soldiers kept retreating. They simply couldn't do anything to Dakian's army, or deal any effective damage at all. The high priest saw that the situation was over. He suddenly bit the tip of his tongue, then used both hands to form a forbidden spell as fast as possible. I'll detonate the ultimate poison formation buried under the altar. I'll die together with your Dakian emperor. Right at this moment, I casually tossed a small pebble into the ecological tank and pressed it hard on the high priest. The spell seal he just formed instantly collapsed. Seeing this scene, all the Dakian soldiers knelt down on the ground. Haotian God himself took action to save our Dakian. Haotian God's might is unmatched. Thank God for protecting us. Whole army, kill all the evil spirits. After the Dakian Empire conquered 2 states in a row, the Thousand Islands Alliance and the Blackstone Empire were already scared out of their wits. The eastern continent is made up of hundreds of islands. The Thousand Islands Alliance only has wooden ship fleets, but Dakian's most powerful force is its navy. They destroyed them completely without any effort. Now only the Blackstone Empire on the western continent remains. This country built its capital with extremely hard obsidian. The city walls reach up to the clouds. Its ruler hid in the giant city, still drinking and having fun. With the world's strongest city wall, even Dakian's cannons can never break through no matter how powerful they are. Even if their god comes in person, they can't break through my city either. I'll hold out against them till the end of time. I looked at the arrogant and domineering ruler in the city. For this final battle, I will grant Dakian the most powerful siege capability, so that the Blackstone Empire will face absolute power and fall into complete despair. I opened the system store, spent a full 1 million divine grace points to exchange for giant siege cannons and electromagnetic pulse devices. Dakian mobilized all national resources to rush construction. 1 month later, dozens of giant siege cannons were transported to the foot of Blackstone City. Zhao Xuan personally came to the front line and said to the ruler, "Surrender now and we'll spare your life." The ruler stood on the city wall laughing wildly. "My city is impenetrable. Come and break in if you have the guts." Zhao Xuan didn't say any more. He just waved his hand and ordered, "Open fire!" Dozens of giant cannons roared at the same time. For a moment, heaven and earth shook. The Blackstone city wall instantly cracked open a huge gap. After several rounds of salvo, the thick and towering city wall collapsed with a roar. The ruler collapsed to the ground on the spot and was easily captured by the incoming Dakian soldiers. At this point, the Blackstone Empire was destroyed. Other small countries sent surrender letters one after another. From then on, Dakian had no more hostile forces. The people of Dakian knelt piously before my idol. Haotian God, the immortal power of faith, keeps pouring into my body. System notifications keep going off one after another. Host helped Dakian complete conquest of all surrounding territories and unified the entire miniature world. Reward 2 million divine grace points. Dakian civilization level upgraded. Interstellar technology access unlocked. Right at this moment, the bottom of the ecosystem tank suddenly made a faint cracking sound. The original bottom baffle burst open with a crash, revealing a much vaster new landmass. I took a closer look. What appeared in front of me wasn't an ordinary road, but peaks shrouded in immortal aura. Magnificent jade palaces floated among the mountains. All kinds of beasts and birds moved around inside. I even saw tiny people flying on swords. When the people of Dakian saw this scene, it immediately caused a commotion. Zhao Shen looked up at the sky in disbelief. Is this Xuanzhou? The immortal realm that only exists in Dakian's myths. Wensu, legend says immortals who live forever reside there. They can control the wind and rain. It's a holy land no mortal can reach in their entire life. As soon as he finished speaking, all the Dakian civilians fell to their knees and kowtowed towards the immortal realm. All the soldiers also had looks of reverence on their faces. They grew up listening to myths about Xuanzhou. They never imagined that the legendary, immortal realm would actually appear right before their eyes. News flooded into the capital. The enemy leader collapsed to the ground on the spot and was easily captured by the incoming Dakian soldiers. The Blackstone Empire was thus completely destroyed. All other small countries sent surrender documents one after another. From then on, Dakian had no more hostile forces. The people of Dakian knelt piously before my idol. Haotian God, the immortal power of faith, keeps pouring into my body. System notifications keep going off one after another. Host helped Dakian complete conquest of all surrounding territories and unified the entire miniature world. Reward 2 million Divine Grace Points. Dakian civilization level upgraded. Interstellar technology access unlocked. Right at this moment, the bottom of the ecosystem tank suddenly made a faint cracking sound. The original bottom baffle burst open with a crash, revealing a much vaster new landmass. I took a closer look. What appeared in front of me wasn't an ordinary road, but peaks shrouded in immortal aura. Magnificent jade palaces floated among the mountains. All kinds of beasts and birds moved around inside. I even saw tiny people flying on swords. When the people of Dakian saw this scene, it immediately caused a commotion. Zhao Shen looked up at the sky in disbelief. Is this Xuanzhou? The immortal realm that only exists in Dakian's myths. Wensu, legend says immortals who live forever reside there. They can control the wind and rain. It's a holy land no mortal can reach in their entire life. As soon as he finished speaking, all the Dakian civilians fell to their knees and kowtowed towards the immortal realm. All the soldiers also had looks of reverence on their faces. They grew up listening to myths about Xuanzhou. They never imagined that the legendary immortal realm would actually appear right before their eyes. News flooded into the capital. A figure stood in midair. The leading Taoist priest looked at the Dakian people with contempt. A tiny mortal country. How dare you act tough with some scrap metal weapons? The so-called Haotian god you believe in is just a clown hiding in the shadows. How dare he be compared to the immortal cultivators of Xuanzhou? His disciple drew his immortal sword. You mortals can't even sense spiritual energy. You don't deserve to exist in the same world as Xuanzhou immortal realm, let alone appear in front of immortals and gods. Once we crush Dakian, you'll be worthy to be near Xuanzhou immortal realm. As soon as they finished speaking, all Dakian people looked up at the sky in shock. The people of Xuanzhou actually want to crush Dakian. Aren't they the legendary immortals? How can they be so cruel? Just then, a veteran general stepped out of the ranks. Chen Yuan requests to lead the army to attack Xuanzhou, protect Dakian's territory, and kill all these arrogant lunatics. Hearing this, Zhao Shen pointed at the sky angrily. The Xuanzhou thieves want to destroy Dakian. How can we just wait to die, even if they have immortal cultivation skills? We have the protection of the god. We will definitely defeat them. Civilians also gathered outside the imperial palace. Bless us, Haotian god. Dakian will win. I stood outside the ecosystem tank, tapping the tank wall lightly with my finger. I didn't expect even an immortal cultivation civilization to appear. It's way more interesting than the previous low-level forces. 3 days later, inside the Dakian Imperial Palace, Zhao Xuan had gathered all civil and military officials for a meeting, sat on the dragon throne with a solemn face. The people of Xuanzhou obviously hold hostility toward our Dakian. Do any of you have good strategies to fight the enemy? Several figures stood in the air. The leading Taoist priest looked at the people of Dakian contemptuously. A tiny mortal country. How dare you call yourselves rulers with some scrap metal? The so-called Haotian god you believe in is just a clown hiding in the shadows. He doesn't even deserve to be mentioned alongside the cultivators of my Xuanzhou. His disciple drew his immortal sword. You mortals can't even sense spiritual energy. You don't deserve to coexist with my Xuanzhou immortal realm in this world. Nor do you deserve to appear in front of immortals and gods. Once we flatten Dakian, you'll be worthy of getting close to my Xuanzhou immortal realm. As soon as they finished speaking, all the people of Dakian looked up at the sky in shock. The people from the immortal realm actually want to wipe out our Dakian. Aren't they the legendary immortals? How can they be so brutal? Just then, a veteran general walked out of the ranks. Chen Yuan is willing to lead the army to crusade against Xuanzhou, to protect the territory of our Daqian and kill all these arrogant lunatics. Hearing this, Zhao Shen pointed at the sky angrily. The Xuanzhou thieves are trying to destroy my Daqian. How can we just sit around and wait for death, even if they have immortal cultivation skills? We have the protection of the gods. We will definitely defeat them. The people also gathered outside the imperial palace one after another. Haochin, God bless us, Dakin will win. While I stood outside the ecosphere, tapped the wall of the tank lightly with my fingertip. I didn't expect even an immortal cultivation civilization to appear. It's way more interesting than those low-level forces before. 3 days later, inside the Dakin imperial palace, Zhao Shen had already gathered all civil and military officials to discuss matters, sat on the dragon throne with a solemn face. The people of Xuanzhou obviously hold hostility toward our Daqian. Do any of you have good strategies to fight the enemy? Hearing this, the Minister of War knelt on the ground. Your Majesty, the Xuanzhou cultivators are chosen by heaven. They have the power to destroy the world. Our Daqian steam iron armors are no match for them at all, instead of resisting stubbornly. We'd better surrender to Xuanzhou. That way we can still save all the people of the country. Although Haochin God has been blessing our Daqian, but now that the true immortals of Xuanzhou have arrived, he's already run away to avoid trouble. He can't protect us at all. As soon as these words came out, the entire court fell into an uproar. Zhao Shen slammed the table and stood up furiously. How dare you? Haochin God has saved Daqian from total destruction several times. Without God, there would be no Daqian today. How dare you slander the gods and collude with foreign enemies? Do you think I'm dead? Instead, the Minister of War looked up and sneered. Your Majesty, don't be so stubborn. Master Immortal Xuanyang said, if Daqian doesn't surrender the entire country within 3 days, he will personally lead the cultivators to flatten the capital. Today is the final deadline. By then it'll be too late for you to regret, Your Majesty. If that Haochin God is really capable, why doesn't he show up to stop this? His words stuck in the hearts of all officials like a thorn. The Prime Minister also sighed anxiously. The Xuanzhou cultivators are openly provoking us, but the gods haven't made any move for a long time. Is it really what Shilang said? The gods have already run away to avoid trouble, just when everyone was wavering. A sudden roar came from the direction of Xuanzhou. Xuanyangzi brought hundreds of cultivators flying over on their swords. Hovering above the capital city, he waved his horsetail whisk. A sharp sword chi slashed toward the golden roof of the imperial palace. You little brat, Zhao Xuan. The 3-day deadline is up. If you don't surrender now, I'll make your Daqian vanish into thin air today. Zhao Xuan walked out of the Jinluan Hall unyieldingly. Don't you dare be so arrogant. When Haoshin God descends, he will definitely kill all of you. After hearing this, Xuanyangzi snorted coldly. Your so-called God is just a coward hiding his head in the sand. Today I'll tear down his golden statue. Let everyone in the world know, mortal gods are vulnerable to a single blow. With that, Xuanyangzi raised his hand. A golden sword chi shot straight toward the pure gold statue in the square. Seeing this scene, Zhao Sen immediately looked at the Daqian artillerymen. Fire, protect the statue. But as soon as the Daqian artillery opened fire, the shells were blocked by the Xuanzhou disciples with magic spells. The sword chi still flew toward the statue, just when the statue was about to be shattered. I picked up a fly swatter, stuck it into the ecosphere, and blocked it in front of the statue. Xuanyangzi's sword chi hit the fly swatter and dispersed instantly. Xuanyangzi's eyes widened in shock. What kind of monster is this? My life-bound sword key. How could it be blocked by such a mortal object? The cultivator disciples behind him also all looked terrified, staring at the fly swatter that was hundreds of times bigger than them. They were trembling all over. Xuanyangzi pointed at the sky. He snarled, You skulking coward! Come out and fight me if you dare! Stop hiding in the dark and using these cheap tricks. I'm the head of Xuanzhou sect. I've cultivated for 1,000 years. I'll definitely tear you to pieces. As he roared loudly, he lifted his hand, gathering an even more powerful sword aura, trying to smash that fly swatter in one go. I watched Xuanyangzi throwing a fit in the ecosystem tank and let out a disdainful snort. Where did all these little flies come from, daring to buzz around on my turf? Right after that, I waved the fly swatter in my hand gently, which stirred up a raging gale inside the ecosystem tank. The gale howled past. Xuanzhou cultivators were blown all over the place. Many disciples were swept away by the fierce wind, crashing into the palace walls or distant mountains and forests. Xuanyangzi was firmly pinned down by the gale. His face was full of embarrassment and fear. He looked at his completely routed disciples around him. Retreat now. I'll spare their lives for today. Someday I'll bring all of Xuanzhu's power to crush Daqian and avenge the humiliation I suffered today. Xuanyangzi forced himself to steady his body and pulled up several badly injured core disciples beside him. He used all his spiritual energy to control his sword and fled in embarrassment towards Xuanzhou. The remaining cultivators saw this and also fled in all directions. The Daqian soldiers saw this and burst into earth-shaking cheers instantly. Heouchen God is invincible. Xiaoshan also breathed a sigh of relief. He kowtowed deeply towards the sky. Thank you for your blessing, Heouchen God, for helping Daqian repel the strong enemy. After Xuanyangzi fled in defeat, I turned my gaze to Xuanzhou. As soon as Xuanyangzi landed, he spat out a mouthful of blood. A mere small mortal country. A god who doesn't dare to show his face. How dare you make Xuanzhou lose all face and kill my disciples? If I don't grind that god to dust, I swear I'm not a real man. Then he immediately summoned all the elders of Xuanzhou. Pass my order, the entire Xuanzhou is under martial law. Mobilize all the power of the spiritual veins. Gather all the cultivators. Refine life-bound magic weapons. Set up the 10,000 Immortals Protection Array. 3 days later, I will personally lead all of Xuanzhou's power to crush Daqian. Kill all those mortal ants. Let them know the price of offending Xuanzhou. The Xuanzhou elders all bowed to take the order. I shook my head helplessly. Since he is courting death and insists on coming here to die again, then I'll give him another big gift. With that thought, I opened the system. Store and spent 1 million divine grace points without hesitation. To exchange for blueprints of missiles and atomic bombs, I spent another 500,000 divine grace points to buy a time acceleration item. It allows Daqian to finish in just 1 day. The production progress that would take several years. Then I moved my mind. The blueprints and the time acceleration item flowed into the miniature world at the same time, with the boost of the time acceleration item. The Daqian Ministry of Works manufactured 20 long-range rocket launchers, as well as 2 atomic bombs. Zhao Shen looked at the fully armed modern army. Today we will take the super weapons granted by God, to crush Xuanzhou, to protect the territory of Daqian, and make them pay for their arrogance. As soon as he finished speaking, the modern army officially marched towards Xuanzhou. At this time, Xuanyangzi was refining life-bound magic weapons in the Holy Land. When he learned that Daqian dared to take the initiative to attack, he laughed wildly. These mortal ants really have a death wish. How dare they come to us on their own? It saves me the trouble of leading the army to attack them. As he said that, he put down the magic weapon in his hand. Gather all cultivators and come fight with me. 2 hours later, Xuanyangzi finally appeared at the Xuanzhou mountain gate. He looked at the slowly approaching Daqian modern army in the distance. These mortal ants, with these scrap metals, dare to show off their power in front of Xuanzhou. Today I will let them know. The gap between immortals and mortals can never be crossed. Xuanyangzi's eldest disciple stepped forward. Master, you don't need to take action yourself. I will set up the 10,000 Immortals Protection Array right now, so that they can't even touch the mountain gate of Xuanzhou, and let them die one by one in the array, to let them know how powerful Xuanzhou is. As he said that, he waved his hand to signal. Hundreds of core disciples of Xuanzhou immediately dispersed, and formed complex hand seals around the Xuanzhou mountain gate. The surrounding spiritual energy gathered crazily. A huge light golden protective shield slowly rose. Covering the entire Xuanzhou, Xuanyangzi put his hands behind his back. Do you see that, mortal ants? This is the top defensive array of Xuanzhou. The 10,000 Immortals Protection Array. Let alone your scrap metals. Even a cultivator with 1,000 years of cultivation can't break it. Today I will render all your weapons completely useless and leave you struggling fruitlessly outside the town until you starve to death alive and become nutrients for Xuanzhou's spiritual veins. Xuanzhou disciples all mocked the Daqian army. Give up resisting? Kneel down and surrender right now. Maybe we will still spare your lives and make you work like oxen and horses. Why doesn't that cowardly hiding god dare to show up? Is he scared of us, Xuanzhou? Seeing this, Zhao Xuan immediately raised his hand and ordered to fire. Blast them as hard as you can for me. Break through their protective shield. As soon as he finished speaking, tanks and rocket launchers fired all at once. Streaks of blazing artillery shells blasted towards Xuanzhou's protective shield. The shells hit the protective shield and made an earth-shattering loud noise, but the shield only showed a few ripples. Xuanyangzi doubled over with laughter. Do you see that? Your weapons are nothing in front of Xuanzhou's great formation. They are just a pile of scrap metal. I advise you to surrender quickly, or when I activate the formation to counterattack, All of you will turn to ashes. The Dakian soldiers' faces changed slightly. Zhao Xuan also frowned. Right at this moment, my voice resounded through the miniature world again. A bunch of clowns. How dare you show off this lousy formation in front of me? After saying that, I stuck my palm into the ecosphere and instantly blocked out the entire sky. Xuanyangzi stared at the pitch-black sky in shock. Don't panic, it's just an illusion trick. Then I wiggled my finger gently. Xuanzhu's great formation was shredded in the blink of an eye. By now, all Xuanzhu disciples were trembling with fear. This is impossible. The 10,000 Immortals Jade Guard formation is the top-tier formation passed down in Xuanzhou for 10,000 years. How could it be torn apart so easily? What the hell are you? I snorted coldly when I heard that. Nothing is impossible. How dare you provoke my divine power? Today is the day your Xuanzhou gets wiped out. Seeing the defensive formation broken, Xiaoxuan jumped up in excitement. Haotian God has cleared all obstacles for Dakian. Attack with all your might. Following Xiaoxuan's order, artillery fire blasted towards Xuanzhou's magnificent pavilions. The immortal cultivation disciples retreated in defeat repeatedly. Seeing this, Xuanyangzi waved his horsetail whisk madly. How could I lose to these mortal ants? As he spoke, he condensed a huge sword energy and blasted it towards the Dakian army. But I was already prepared for this. I ordered to activate the psychic energy shield. I used a fly swatter again to bounce Xuanyangzi's attack away. Xuanyangzi was knocked back repeatedly by the rebound force and fell to the ground powerlessly. By now, Xuanzhou was already a complete mess. The immortal cultivation disciples suffered heavy casualties. Xuanyangzi watched his disciples fall one by one beside him and struggled to get up. He kneeled on both knees in front of Zhao Xuan to beg for mercy. I am willing to surrender and will give all of Xuanzhou's spiritual veins to Haotian God entirely. I will submit to Dakian, work like oxen and horses, and never dare to resist again. Please don't kill me, people of Dakian. The soldiers stopped attacking and looked towards Zhao Xuan, waiting for his order. Zhao Xuan did not make the decision on his own. Instead, he bowed respectfully towards the sky. Haotian God, the Xuanzhou rebels are willing to surrender. Please give us your instruction. I put away the fly swatter after hearing that. Xuanyangzi insulted my divine majesty. He deserves to die 10,000 times. How can surrender offset his crimes? Behead Xuanyangzi on the spot. To serve as a warning to others? Zhao Xuan looked at Xuanyangzi coldly after hearing this. You all heard the god's instruction, right? Do it! Several Dakian soldiers stepped forward immediately and executed Xuanyangzi and several corps members on the spot. The once arrogant Xuanzhou was completely wiped out. Dakian took over the entire Xuanzhou territory and reaped a huge harvest. I counted Xuanzhou's resources in person. There are 3,000-year-old spiritual veins in Xuanzhou, which provide spiritual energy continuously. I immediately told the Dakian soldiers to learn immortal cultivation techniques, combine technology with immortal cultivation to help the Dakian soldiers improve their combat power. Right at this moment, a system notification sound rang in my head again. Host helped Dakian wipe out Xuanzhou and fully controlled the immortal cultivation resources of the miniature world. Dakian civilization level has been upgraded. Host's accumulated divine grace value has exceeded 5 million. System upgrade benefits unlocked. New exclusive real-world permissions added. Permission 1. Host's physical body gets divine level body protection blessing, completely free from all disease troubles. Permission 2. Divine grace value can be directly exchanged for real-world currency. 10,000 divine grace value can be exchanged for 100,000 RMB. Permission 3. Host can consume divine grace value. Unlock any skill in the real world, like object teleportation precognition. The system's notification just finished playing. I feel a warm current wash over my whole body. All my exhaustion vanishes in an instant. My eyesight and hearing also become extremely sharp. After the system upgraded, my life in the real world has changed completely beyond recognition. I look glowing and energetic. I look at least 10 years younger than people my age. I casually open the system panel, staring at the divine grace points on the panel. Then I tap lightly and exchange them for 5 million yuan. My phone immediately gets a bank deposit notification. I spend another 100,000 divine grace points to unlock a skill. Then I walk over to the ecosphere to check how Dakian is developing in the mini-world. But the second I look into the ecosphere, the smile on my face freezes immediately. Dakian inside the ecosphere is a total mess right now. Corpses of cultivators and soldiers are piled up like mountains. Several weird-looking warships are hovering in the sky, firing destructive beams non-stop. Every time they strike, they level Dakian's defense works to the ground. Zhao Xuan eyes leading the remaining soldiers to fight to the death. But their weapons can't damage the warships at all. Instead, they're forced to retreat steadily under the alien warships' counterattacks. As they fall back, a general kneels down before Zhao Xuan. Your Majesty, these warships have extremely strong defenses. If this keeps going, our entire army will be wiped out. Zhao Xuan looks at his people and soldiers falling around him. Haotian God, please bless Daqian and help us repel these alien invaders. At this moment, I start observing these super powerful warships. I see inside the command cabin of the lead warship. There are actually 2 aliens sitting there. The alien leader stares down at Daqian disdainfully. How dare a lowly civilization resist the Galaxy Federation? Today, I will completely destroy your world and turn your planet into my colony. The adjutant next to him bows slightly. Leader, this world's civilization level is way too low. We only need to launch one more full attack to completely wipe out all their resistance. Should we give the order to finish them off now? The leader shows a cruel smile. Take it easy. I want their emperor to watch his people get slaughtered with his own eyes. Hearing that, I slowly put my right hand into the ecosphere. A giant hand immediately covers several warships. When the remaining Daqian soldiers see this, they burst into deafening cheers instantly. They all kneel down on the ground. Haoqing God is here. Daqian is saved. The alien leader forces himself to stay calm and stands up. Bullshit, God. It's just a fantasy of this lowly civilization. Just a human with a bigger body. There's no way he can beat our fleet. All warships fire at full power. As soon as he finishes speaking, several alien warships activate their laser cannons at the same time. Dark blue beams blast towards my giant hand, but I barely feel anything at all. My palm just feels a little warm. Then I stretch out my fingers and squeeze hard. The alien warships get crushed like pieces of paper. Then I wave my hand lightly. Another warship gets hit and explodes immediately. The leader stares at what's happening in disbelief. This is impossible. How can a human body possibly block my laser cannons? Hearing that, I sneer. My body was upgraded a long time ago. With this junk of yours, you're less of a threat than a mosquito. Saying that, I keep waving my hand, shooting down the alien warships one by one. The leader just tries to escape in the main ship, and I grab it immediately. I don't bother talking to him. I just crush the main ship into dust. In just a few minutes, I completely wiped out all the alien invaders. Zhao Xuan brings all his civil and military officials and bows deeply towards my figure. Thank you for your blessing, Haotian God, for saving Daqian from total destruction. Right at this moment, the system's notification tone rings again. The faith power of Daqian people has surged drastically. The system mall unlocks the future tech section. Hearing this, I open the system mall. There are a lot of new items added that only exist in sci-fi novels. But these technologies are way too advanced. Daqian can't produce them right now at all. I sigh helplessly. What a shame. I worked so long and only got a bunch of useless papers. The system's notification tone rings again. Detected that host's divine grace points have exceeded 10 million. Ultimate permission unlocked. Blueprint materialization ability. Can turn all technology blueprints in the system mall into technologies that can be used directly in the real world. My eyes light up when I hear this. That means these future technologies can not only be used by Daqian, but also be applied to the real world right now, letting Dragon Country have the power of future technologies. Thinking of this, I start trying immediately to exchange all the future technology blueprints. A flash of blue light appeared. Antimatter missiles, interstellar jump engines, and more. The blueprints really showed up in my hands. Each of them is enough to shock the whole world. I didn't waste any time and immediately contacted the relevant national authorities and volunteered to hand over all these blueprints. The staff who got the news were half skeptical at first, but when they arrived at my home and saw the tech blueprints on my desk, they were completely blown away. Soon these future technologies were escorted by special personnel to the country's top scientific research institutions. In just half a year, our country successfully developed these facilities and weapons. The country didn't forget my contributions and gave me extremely high honors and recognition. But I turned down all excessive rewards and only accepted a simple commendation. For me, watching my motherland grow stronger each day and seeing my compatriots live better lives is more than enough. I still live a low-key and peaceful life, except that I get extra protection from the country, which lets me focus on guarding the miniature world inside the ecological tank. I looked at the ecological tank again at this moment. The Great Qian is also growing stronger day by day and gradually mastering more advanced technology and cultivation arts. The people of Great Qian are piously kowtowing to my statue. I can feel that pure faith from them. My heart is full of comfort and joy. I will keep guarding these two worlds that belong to me and watch them move towards an even brighter future.